We are actually progressing, and I think the makeup of the bank I think will change. And one of the key things that we are trying to do is to try to change the brand identity of the bank. Just to share with you, we are changing the name of the bank, subjected to, of course, the approval of kita punya ultimate shareholders, to be called SME Development Bank, not SME Bank, because one of the things that I think we had in terms of kita punya interfacing dengan World Bank is that they feel that kita punya market share of 4% doesn't reflect the true identity of the bank. Because if you're supposed to be a SME bank, then you're supposed to be a major player within the context of SME currency. We cannot be a 4% market player. We have got to be a 90-odd% market player. So in that respect, I think when we tie back to kita punya mandated role and kita punya aspects of kita punya name, there seems to be a mismatch also. So that's the reason why I think we are thinking of changing the context of this bank. We call SME Development Bank Berhad, which has already gotten the consent of SSI. So now I think the ultimate approval with regards to kita punya shareholders. So how does that relate back with regards to what you're trying to do? Now one of the key aspirations in terms of kita punya financing of kita punya customers ni, and what we're trying to do is to actually mirror the aspects of Islamic financing in a true sense. So we look at Islamic financing, it is not merely the aspect of giving financing from an Islamic window, not product and services alone. So of course the context of riba is actually key and fundamental element. I think that's already preordained. But there's also the other element, which means that I think we have this inherent responsibility to be able to actually develop kita punya customers. So the responsibility in terms of building up kita punya customer base too is something that I think needs to be driven from within. So tie that back within the context of the overall scenario. We're looking at it from purely, what shall I say, purely Islamic punya principle, and within the context of what we call an ideal situation, if everything is perfect, then the context of the bank providing financing has got that responsibility to be able to develop the businesses that they give financing to. So the context is actually the context of building up economic base. So once the economic base of the customer grows, the bank will also be sustainable. So, and the context of the customer base punya profitability too also goes towards the payment of zakat to a bursary. Okay, that's actually the context of Islamic punya jurisprudence dulu lah, masa Ottoman Empire and the zaman Rasulullah. So which is not being undertaken now, but I think that's what we are trying to do. So within the context of paying the zakat to the bursary, the responsibility of the bursary now is then to dish out money to actually help people in poverty. So you have an economic trend that moves up. Okay, so take that from our perspective. Kita punya perspective currently is basically to be able to actually build up our customers, and that context of the responsibility to build up our customers becomes inherent in terms of what we're trying to do. So that is something that we need to deliver. It is not merely giving out loans, but we now take on the responsibility to ensure that whomever that we give out loans to must succeed. So that becomes the philosophy of what we're trying to do with regards to this customer aspects. Unlike with other commercial banks, my colleagues in other commercial banks, they are more inclined with regards to Islamic window. They're talking about the element of profitability. They're talking about the context of being able to build up the capability of the customers, but not to the extent of actually nurturing them and building their capability up to become successful. So if you recall what I said during the session that we had in the quarterly assembly, I said there is nothing wrong with regards to seeing one of our customers drive a Lamborghini or Porsche, because that's our responsibility. That's the thing that I think we have to do. The substance that we have to deliver is that substance of actually making sure that our customers succeed. Okay, so that ties back with regards to I think what you've gone through in terms of your In Minds program, the context of building up passion. So we now have two limbs that we put the jigsaw puzzle together. We have the context of passion on one side, which is basically what has been built up in terms of the Iman movement. And now we have the context of trust amanah that we have to do. And then to tie the two, there comes the context of commitment. So commitment means we have to drive whatever that we say, we have to mean whatever we say. So tying that back again, with regards to tadi, going back to the issue of the bank's positioning, the bank's branding, it goes also back to the nomenclature that I think we're going to drive. I think some of you are fully aware that all bankers are now going to be known as development bankers. So when you are a development banker, then of course you have the responsibility of building up the capacity of your borrowers. So the way that you deliver, the way that you talk to the customer, must be one that ensures that you drive sincerity in terms of wanting to do and wanting to see the customer succeed. So hopefully, by him gaining economic wealth, he will do his part of paying zakat. Okay, that's a responsibility that I think we can take on. But the ultimate decision of whether he pays or doesn't, it doesn't come with us. It goes with him. Alright? So, if you take that as the basis of what we're trying to do, it ties back with regards to what Cik Jaidi and Puan Sally and the rest are trying to do insofar as building the service level to achieve that expectation. So, if I can say, back again, we have the banks positioning now being changed, cascading down to the bankers themselves. We are going to be known as development bankers. We have two limbs, financing. We have the responsibility to build up our customer base. The service aspect has got to demonstrate that sincerity to be able to actually develop the businesses. So this service transformation program works towards that platform. So you have to be able to actually talk about this context of nurturing. So I hope this team is actually a team that is totally going to be totally engrossed in coming up with whatever that needs to come up as an outcome of this session. And I personally want to see through that and make sure that I think we achieve this.